Welcome back to Blake's Takes, everyone. I'm your host, Blake, and as always with me, my co-host, Garrett.
Hey, guys.
So, obviously a popular topic in the entertainment world is Stranger Things right now, as Season 4, Part 1, obviously it comes out at once, it's Netflix, but it seems like everyone has seen it now.
Yeah.
So, now we do a review, and we will wait for this Part 2 release in July.
Very excited for this part 2.
Oh, yeah. So
Season 4 left us with a lot to chew on.
Oh, yeah. So we'll definitely do another review for Stranger Things Part 2. But for this episode, we're going to be doing the review on Part 1. So right off the bat, what are your first impressions?
First impressions, I think Season 4 has kind of revitalized Stranger Things.
I agree.
I thought it was definitely getting a little bit stale.
A little repetitive.
A little repetitive,
Yep.
a little bit stale with seasons 2 and 3.
Yep.
But this one offered a totally different bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
Before we talk any more about this, guys, this is definitely going to be a spoiler-heavy review. So if you have not seen Season 4, Part 1 of Stranger Things, go watch it right now, because
it's hard not to talk about spoilers.
Exactly. I mean, it's how the show progresses.
Yes.
It's critical to talking about the story. So go watch it if you haven't seen it now. This has been your warning. Anything else is on you.
You have been warned. And trust me, when you start watching it, you'll be hooked on this season.
Exactly. You'll be done in 2 days. You can come back.
But yeah, I do understand where you're coming from, where it feeling a little stale. And yeah, I was getting repetitive because I really wasn't sure, before we did get this trailer and we saw this new villain, I really wasn't sure what there was more to discover with the Upside Down.
Exactly. But I think at the end of the day, we were like, with seasons 2 and 3, we were kind of forgetting that there is a big boss and there is this grand master plan.
Right.
But we've just been kind of getting caught up in these little tiny battles that they've been having in Hawkins. And so, this one kind of opened up to what is the master plan? Because they were talking about how Vecna is a 5-star general. The Demogorgon was just a foot soldier.
Yep.
And so now they're like, what is their goal?
Right. One thing that I think they have revitalized in this series as well is the horror aspect of it.
Absolutely.
Season 1 was definitely pretty horror heavy. I remember when Season 1 came out and everyone was talking about it like, oh, you got to watch the Stranger Things. It's a pretty spooky show.
Yeah.
And, there's good scares in it and whatnot. And Season 2 and 3, they kind of, lost touch with that. It was still creepy in its own way.
It was creepy, but it wasn't quite so. There weren't as many jump scares.
It was lacking that horror aspect of it.
Yes. But this one, oh my God, one, Season 4 opened up with, this is horror. We're back to horror.
Yeah, we're back to horror. A lot of horror inspiration you can tell from this season.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest inspiration that jumps right out for me is Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way that this girl Chrissy dies with being risen up to the ceiling of this home, and which obviously is the way that Johnny Depp dies in the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
But all while this is happening, she's being controlled in her mind.
Yes.
Almost like a dream.
Yeah. So it definitely heavy inspiration from Nightmare on Elm Street. You die in your dreams, you die for real. And oh my God, just the way that these people die is just gruesome as hell.
It is.
Oh my God.
I wasn't expect to get that gruesomeness out of Stranger Things.
Seriously.
Again.
I saw that thing happen with her eyes, and I thought that was going to be the end of it, but oh my God, no, let's just deform her entire body while we're at it.
Yeah, crazy.
Ugh.
And not only can you see the inspiration with how they're being killed, but even with Vecna himself and Freddy Krueger. I mean, think about it. Freddy Krueger, a burn victim. Vecna, actually, you come to find out he's pretty burned and deformed.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. It's definitely not quite the same.
It's not quite the same, but it's very similar.
It's almost like he became a part of the Upside Down.
Right. And then obviously with Freddy Krueger, you have his knives for fingers. And with Vecna, you do see one of his hands. One of his claws are longer than the other hand.
Yes, one of his hands is more monstrous than the other.
So heavy inspiration from Nightmare on Elm Street for sure. And then, just some obvious callbacks as well with horror movies. You have Eddie Munson's uncle talking about Michael Myers. And how, you know, he's just this boogeyman that exists in Victor Creel.
Yes.
And then in one of Max's nightmarish dreams of the Upside Down, we do see a tombstone that says Myers on it. And we don't know what the hell that could mean. But first reaction is the headstone of Judith Myers from the Halloween films. So that'd be a pretty cool.
They've definitely just been putting a lot of horror film nods in there.
Yeah, just little Easter eggs in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But story-wise, they have really amped it up a lot, and we are getting a lot more backstory from Elle. You know, we thought we knew a lot about her, but now we are really seeing her days in that Hawkins facility.
We figured out in season 2 that she was not the only one.
Right.
We found her sister, number 8. But now we really got to see what it was like for her growing up in that facility.
Right.
And, you know, that like we were kind of wondering like, okay, well, there's number 8, there's others. We finally got to see those others. And like I said before, we got to see how she's always kind of been this outcast.
Yeah.
And which made her line to Mike about her not fitting in anywhere make a lot more sense.
Yeah, because we really see how outcasted she is in the beginning of the season when she's in high school. Obviously, you got, you know, the typical bully just doing everything to piss her off. That is one thing. Stranger Things, I swear. I don't know what they think high school is like, but they have got the meanest bullies I've ever seen.
Dude, I swear to you, yeah, I ended up like looking this up. I was like, was bullying worse in the 80s? Like, I looked this up after watching this. I'm like, there is like in every single movie that like takes place in the 80s, the bullies are fucking ruthless.
Oh, they're just downright evil.
They are. Like, I'm like, dude, these grew up to be like fully functioning adults and not homopathic killers.
And I mean, yeah, it is a movie and TV show, so a lot of this is going to be dramatized for conflict. Because we see, you know, even in like early 2000 movies, the bullies are still pretty bad.
Yeah. But you know what? I found some stories on Reddit and like there's some pretty fucked up bullies back in the day.
Really?
Yeah. And I feel like the reason why we don't see that now is just at least not as much, is just because, you know, people are a lot more conscious about it.
Right.
There's cameras. People get you on camera doing that. Now it's a whole lawsuit. Like people are just like, that shit just doesn't fly anymore.
No, not at all.
So I think that's why we don't see it nearly as much. But yeah, I mean, I swear, bro, kids were just ruthless back in the day.
They were. Yeah, it actually, this bullying brought up a really important part to Elle's character, which is her control of her anger. And I mean, I was absolutely thrilled to see her smash that bully in the face with that roller skate.
Bro, she deserved that shit 100%. I swear to God, how do you fuck with somebody's head like that that much
and not expect the repercussions?
Yeah, expect no repercussions.
Yeah.
Oh, I got smacked in the face by this roller skate. I wonder why. Like, oh my God, I didn't just embarrass this girl in front of everybody in town. On multiple occasions.
And it kind of brings a different perspective of the way, you know, the group, like Mike, and at least Mike thinks about her. Because Will, you know, he understands her pain.
Yeah.
I don't think Mike understands it as much.
Well, he definitely doesn't. And also, he was a little more confused by it because Elle's been lying to him this whole time about like how things have been going out in California. But I think it definitely just took him more by surprise. But yeah, she's got a little fire to her. Speaking of their move to California, oh my God, did we get introduced to one of the funniest characters that we have seen in Stranger Things, freaking Argyle. Oh my God.
He has been hilarious.
Absolutely hippie Native American dude with the long hair, stoned out of his mind half the time.
Great catchphrases.
So good. This is schmacking.
Schmacking. This risotto is schmacking. Murray's like, the fuck is he talking about? Schmacking.
And it's funny to see the influence that he's had on Jonathan. Oh my God. Jonathan's like just as baked as him half the time.
Oh my God. And that scene when we see him when Argyle is talking to that one girl later in the season that he's just obsessed with.
Yes.
Oh my God. That's so funny. And a quick, I think Easter egg as well.
Yes.
I pointed out that I don't think, because I watched Watch Mojo and they did all those like horror Easter eggs. I don't think they pointed out this one, but the girl in that was dressed just like Winona Ryder was in Beetlejuice, and all black and everything, and the dark makeup features. Now, her character was acting more like the mom in Beetlejuice, I will say.
Yeah.
But no, that had to have been, she was dressed like Winona Ryder was in Beetlejuice. And like, there was no other reason to have her dressed like that besides a nice little Easter egg.
No, and you know, they've done that before where they dressed up Lucas and Max. They were wearing like literally the exact wardrobe that was worn in that 70s show.
Right, exactly.
So it's not the first time they've done that.
Yeah. And plus, you know, with Winona Ryder being in the show, that's got to be it.
Yeah. But no, back to the scene you're talking about. He saw her, and then we see them getting stoned in the back of his van later.
He's been hilarious.
He has been a very funny addition to the cast, and especially not knowing how to deal with all this crazy shit going on. Oh my God, was he freaking out?
Yeah. But yeah, obviously with California also comes Joyce, and we see Joyce get a little message from Russia, and that can only mean Hopper. And now, since Russia and Hopper are involved again, here comes Murray back to the picture to help her out.
Freaking Murray.
And I have loved this, detective relationship that they've had in this season between Joyce and Murray.
Yeah, honestly, they go on like their own little adventure here. I swear, like they're totally separate from like everybody else. Their entire mission is just to get Hopper back.
No, it's honestly crazy how many different missions everyone has. We have Elle trying to get her powers back. We have Joyce and Murray trying to get to Russia to save Hopper. We have Hopper's story in itself in the Russian prison. We have Will, Mike, Jonathan, and Argyle trying to find out where Elle is located.
Yup.
And then we have Max, Lucas, and Dustin trying to figure out everything with the upside down and shit.
And then we got Steve, Eddie, Robin, yes. Nancy.
Which is kind of connected as well with Dustin and
they're
Lucas
kind
and
of
all
together,
them.
but they have their own like mini adventure into the Upside Down.
No, yeah. Everyone has a side mission in this show.
It's kind of crazy, like how much is going on.
It is crazy. And as much as there is going on, I still don't feel too overwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone just seems to be having their own heroic moments in this season.
So far in this season, I'm actually really loving Max's character.
Yes, for sure. She has easily become one of my favorite characters of the show.
Yeah, and I think this season has definitely like sealed the deal. Vecna, all about getting into your head.
Yeah.
And, attacks people who have been having like, especially like a lot of struggles at home. And as we know from Max,
some inner struggles.
Yeah, some inner struggle. Yeah, some kind of inner struggle, some kind of guilt that they have. And he kind of like takes that and uses it against you. We see that with her relationship with not only her mom, but also with, mainly her guilt over Billy's death. Like she feels like she's responsible. She feels guilty that she didn't do something. You know, like she just kind of stood there. But I mean, come on, you're facing a 1,000-pound flesh monster. Like what are you supposed to do? Yeah, no, like we said before, Max out of the group of kids definitely has the most depth to her character. Definitely has the most relatable struggle as well. And yeah, her character growth has been great, and she fits perfectly within this show since she came in during season 2. And we were scared we were going to lose our favorite character. Oh my God, were we ever? So should we talk about the scene? Yeah. So, because whenever I see this on like social media or, people talking about not spoiling anything, people talk about the scene. Yeah. And this scene involves Max. Yes, it does. And damn, son, that was a great scene. It was amazing. So good. So as we know, Vecna pretty much traps you in the upside down, almost like a nightmare. Yeah, like in your head. In your head, yeah. So you're like paralyzed. You can't move or do anything. And eventually kills them to have them join him in the upside down. Mm-hmm. But the group finds a way to possibly relieve her from Vecna's grip. And it involves listening to music, and particularly the song Running Up That Hill, which, oh my God, it's just trending all over TikTok now. Yeah. All over social media. It was such a good song choice for this. God. And it's purposely why I'm not listening to it on TikTok or social media, because it is a good song and I am enjoying my time listening to it. Yeah, like TikTok can do that occasionally. Yeah. Just ruin a good song. So yeah, this was absolutely beautiful scene, an emotional scene as well, because as she's hearing this song in the upside down,
she's looking out. She sees an opening portal to the real world,
and
to her friends.
Yeah, and she can see her friends.
And she just starts, we go through all these flashbacks of her and her memories with the group. And it is really touching, honestly.
Yeah, and is like as cold and distant as she's been in this season from her friends. Like, this scene really reminded her of, like, they have been there for her. They care about her. She has people that care about her. And, she just was in an all-out sprint because she was like, yeah, I'm not ready. I'm not willing to accept this.
Right, yeah.
And she wasn't really thinking much of herself, honestly.
That's what I was going to say. Her character herself has been, like, in a little bit of a depression. And it was kind of, in a way, just showing her the light to the end of the tunnel. Yeah. And to the ones that really do care and love about her. Exactly. And this scene itself was amazing, but I also loved the scene that led up to it, where she was, sitting there talking to Billy. Yeah. Dude, that scene almost had me in tears. Right. Honestly, I think that's really why I like Max's character, because she can act her ass off. Dude, she's a good actress. Yeah, I'll be the one to admit it. I'm definitely a Max stan in this show. Yeah, and I could definitely see Sadie Sink having, like, probably having the most successful career after Stranger Things. You might be right. Right? So with Vecna comes 11. And like we were saying before, we get quite the backstory with 11. And obviously right now she has lost her powers and is trying to get them back through this program that Papa has planned over the years. And we... what's his name? Dr. Burnin? I think so. I can't remember. He's Papa. he is Papa. Pizza Papa always gets paid. Shut the fuck up. Elle's backstory is really what has been, like, the biggest reveal in this season is, like, honestly, we've been seeing Vecna, we've been seeing flashbacks from 11, but did I think that these stories would connect? No, I did not see that coming. No, they had a great twist. It really did. And, this entire season opens up with Papa being like, what did you do? Yes. And she was cut, and she had, her bloody nose and blood covered in blood as well. Yeah, covered in blood coming from her eyes. And we know that Elle will bleed when she's using her powers. So we just see a bunch of dead bodies and we see blood on her face like she had been using her powers. We were like, oh my God, did Elle kill everyone in the facility? Right, and is that how she escaped the first time in season 1? Yes. Yeah. So, but then we learned it wasn't her. Oh my God. So this last episode, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. It wasn't her, but it was who she was fighting. And holy shit. Number 1, the original superpowered kid is Vecna. Vecna, yep. And not only that, but it also connects with Victor Creel's story. Yep. Connects with his story. It was Victor Creel's son who discovered he had these powers and was responsible for murdering his family. Yo, that was a great twist and connecting plots that I really didn't see coming. Yeah, no, I didn't see that coming. Like, when I saw, like, him, kind of start going on his rampage, I was, like, starting to put it together. But I was like, but still, in that realization, I was like, holy shit. Yeah, no, Jamie Campbell Bower did a great job at being a menacing little villain. He's a creepy and menacing person. He is. Yeah. Like, his facial expressions were amazing. Honestly, it kind of reminded me of, like, Willem Dafoe almost, like, who has this ability. He can go from being, like, a very friendly looking person. Yes. But when he turns on that switch, like, oh my God, he can look like the most evil person. And it makes sense, Vecna's mannerisms, because Jamie Campbell Bower is actually in that Vecna suit. Yeah, well, I mean, I would assume so. I mean, you just never know with all the prosthetics and makeup, but... True, but you could just... It makes sense now, like the way he walked and his mannerisms. Yes. Did a great job. But yeah, as soon as Elle took that chip or whatever it was out of his neck... It was definitely an inhibitor that was keeping him from using his powers. But it was funny. As soon as he had this slightest facial expression right after that, and I was like, I don't like that. Something's up with him. Yeah. And obviously, as soon as he, used his powers, I was like, that's number 1. That's number 1. Yeah. And he was the one with all the stories about number 1. And how 11 reminded him of somebody that used to be there, number 1. Yep.
And she was like, I thought that he was a myth. He never existed, but nope, he did.
But speaking of number one, we are now in even more awe of 11, that she is as powerful as she is to defeat this guy.
Yeah, and was able to send him to the Upside Down.
Yeah.
But
Insane.
I mean, she kind of created a bigger villain by sending him to the upside down.
She created a problem, honestly.
Yeah, she did. Not only that, but it wasn't that the first time she also opened the gate to the Upside Down?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, with that victory came dire consequences.
Absolutely.
But man, what a story that I've really enjoyed between Vecna, 11, and how it's all coming in a full circle. Let's talk about a hot trending character in Eddie Munson. Obviously, you know, whenever I hear this name, I can't help but to think of Eddie Munster, which clearly the names had to be, with Eddie Munson, had to be inspired from the sitcom The Munsters.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way why it wouldn't be.
Got so many Easter eggs.
So many. He is a really likable character.
Yeah, I really do like his character. I find it kind of funny that he's like the edgy one, but he's like the biggest coward of anybody.
Yes,
Like his first reaction to everything is just run.
But you know, that's usually how it goes for the people who act in a way where they want to seem like they're dominant and you know, edgy. And
I mean, not to say that he's not an edgy guy.
Right,
like he's pretty out there as far as personalities go.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, as far as like willing to put himself in harm's way and you know, dealing with this crazy shit, he's not about it.
But yeah, definitely more bark than bite.
For sure.
Yeah. Even though he is portrayed as like, you know, this bad guy in the Stranger Things world, but in a way he's taken these kids under his wing and looking out for him, you know, like Dustin and Lucas at first and Mike, you know, part of the Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
You know, these kids, they don't really have many groups to go to in high school. You know, they're freshmen in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pretty outcasted, and he's kind of taking them under their wings and looking out for them in a way.
He's definitely like, he just created like the club of outcasts. Really.
Yeah.
And which is kind of cool to see. You know, everybody needs a sense of belonging, and that's where they found theirs.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Hellfire Club, can we talk about how stupid this freaking captain of the basketball team or whatever is?
Oh, yes.
Oh my God, I swear. They're like, the Hellfire Club is all about demonic worship and all this shit. I'm like, bruh, it's D&D.
Even after he witnessed his friend getting murdered right in front of him and Eddie.
Yeah.
He was like,
said Eddie did it.
Yeah. It was like, obviously Eddie cannot do such things.
Yeah, like what? Like where does he think Eddie's getting these supernatural powers? Like I swear.
And if you looked at Eddie was just as freaked out.
Yeah, Eddie was horrified.
Yeah.
And he still thinks Eddie did it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's been a jackass. Speaking of other stupid characters, here's the thing in Stranger Things. They never really show the parents, and this whole time I'm like, where the fuck are these kids' parents when they've been gone for days and days?
Yeah.
And I'm glad they started to show their parents in the last few episodes of season 4, part 1.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, finally, you know, these kids' parents are stepping into the picture and actually caring about them and wondering where they are. This whole time I was like, do you have no concerns of where your kids are right now?
You know, I think that's also kind of a small town thing.
Yeah.
Though, is because like everybody knows everybody.
Yes.
So, you know, it's not like, so like us as kids, us going out into the neighborhood would have been like them going out into the town. Like I swear, it's, you know, like if they're not doing something they shouldn't, I feel like 9 out of 10 people is going to have their parents' phone number and be like, hey, your kids are doing this.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like that just might be a small town thing.
Very possible because, as we all know, Hawkins, it seems like everyone knows everyone.
Yeah.
That almost seems like an 80s movie kind of thing to just, you know, because a lot of 80 movies did revolve around younger teenagers in high school, like that rebellious age.
Yeah, and oblivious parents.
Yes, exactly. So I can see why they would go that route because it does seem more like an 80s thing to do.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, my God, there's just really so much to talk about. I'm sure we're probably forgetting things. I mean, you know, it's easy to get lost within this season because, good God, these episodes were long.
They were long and they had a lot of information to cover.
They did. That's the thing. I was never bored.
No,
never.
No, like they weren't dragging it on or anything. Like I swear, I was like, give us more. Give us, like, I was so happy that every minute that they had in these episodes was used to its fullest potential. And, you know, it showed.
It did. Because, I mean, even the last episode of part 1 was an hour and 40 minutes. I'm like, that's a movie within itself. And then you're going to release part 2, which has an hour and a half episode and then a 2.5 hour episode.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I see why this has costed them so much money. What did they say? Like $30 million an episode?
God. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Because this is definitely the most we've seen Upside Down. And the visuals are just breathtaking. I mean, they are like Hollywood blockbuster movie level.
They are. Vecna's visuals are really good. CGI on him is really cool. And
practical
also,
effect as well with him.
Yeah, and not to mention his practical effects, but like, you know, he also has like the moving veins on him. Like it's almost like the vines are coming out of him.
Yeah.
But then also, we see, like you said, we see the Upside Down a lot more. His like base of operations, that was a really cool setting in the Upside Down.
Yes. And not to mention with the Upside Down, we are getting some plot points from the first season that are coming back with knowing where people are in the Upside Down with the lights, communicating through the lights.
Yep.
So that was really cool to see come back around as well. Overall, what an amazing season so far. And we still have part 2 left.
Exactly.
So, I mean, if you could right now, what would you rate the Stranger Things seasons?
What, like if I were to rank them?
Yeah.
All right, if I were to rank them, I mean, you know, season 4 is definitely given, like season 1 has always been my favorite.
Okay.
Season 4 is definitely given season 1 a run for its money though. But if I were to rank them, you know, I love the GOAT, so I'm gonna go season 1.
Okay.
Season 4.
Yeah.
Season 3 and then season 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Almost the same order for me, except I know there could be recency bias with this, but I really do want to put season 4 at the top.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming with that. Yeah.
I mean, I just love that they were able to give us like this revitalization of this whole Upside Down world. Like we said, it was getting a little bit stale and repetitive.
Yeah.
With the Upside Down, but damn, they did it with this.
Yeah, they did.
Obviously, I'm gonna go with season 1 next. Great original concept. Really brought back this 80s sci-fi show.
Very good introduction. What got everyone hooked.
Yep. And then I am going to go season 3 next as well. And I do think season 3 catches some flack, but honestly, I really enjoyed season 3.
I for sure liked it better than season 2. Season 2 seemed kind of to me.
Season 3 had a very heavy like 80s story as well, with this whole operation like being based around this mall.
Yes.
The new mall in town.
Yes.
And then you have the Russians starting to get involved.
We see a lot more of the Russians in season 3. And also, not to mention that like the Mind Flayer, we saw like a physical version of the Mind Flayer. And it was like freaking terrifying. It was made of body parts.
No, I do like the plot points of having the Russians involved with the Upside Down more. That made it more interesting to me. And then at number 4, I would have season 2 as well. Which is funny because season 2 has the highest critical rating next to season 1.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, and not to say that any of these seasons were bad to us. I mean, I've enjoyed all of them.
Absolutely not. Yeah. I didn't regret watching a single one.
No. But yeah, season 4, the Duffer Brothers have really done their thing with this one.
I guess that 30 million episode really came in handy.
Yeah. Overall ranking of season 4, part 1, amazing. That's all we can say.
Very good. Looking forward to part 2.
Oh yeah, part 2 is going to be something else. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this review on Stranger Things part 1. And we will see you when part 2 comes out, as we will review that next. As always, I'm your host, Blake, and with me, my co-host, Garrett. And we will see you next time on Blake's Takes.
See you guys.